with that, we're going to dive into the other major story of today, and that is the ongoing conflict between Iran and Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu announced Operation Rising Lion, in which he stated that Iran was getting too close to potentially having a nuclear weapon, and they launched a series of airstrikes, which, as he said, will continue for days. This is a campaign. Now, I have no problem with that. If Israel actually believed that Iran was getting close to a nuclear weapon and they want to perpetrate attacks against Iran, go for it. No problem. But let's dive into this story. I want to show this video first, and then we're going to dive into some of the other videos. But really what this comes down to, and what I want to talk about today, is who is trying to rope the U.S. into this conflict. Let's go.
Antiwar.com. Scott, appreciate you doing this. Do you think Israel has the right to do this and to defend itself? And or do you think that this is just a bad idea?
Well, yeah, two separate questions. The way you framed it was launching an aggressive war is defending itself, but that's just because you say it that way. In any other contest, of course, it's completely illegal. This is what Japan did to us at Pearl Harbor, the day of infamy, a surprise sneak attack against a country that wasn't attacking them. And so that was what was going on here. And the fact is, they were in the middle of negotiations.
Okay, I do want to talk about Mr. Anti-War here, because I have all sorts of thoughts on both sides of this argument. As he said, this is like World War II when Japan attacked the U.S., who was not attacking it. But this is not the case with Israel. Israel has been attacked by Iran since October 7th. Directly, no. But realize that Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Muslim Brotherhood, which have been attacking Israel, especially Hamas and Hezbollah, since October 7th, are vassal terrorist states of Iran. They are controlled by Iran, funded by Iran. They exist because of the patronage of Iran. They are Iran's tip of the spear. That's exactly who they are. So yes, this war between Israel, this conflict between Israel and Iran did not start 4 days ago. It started on October 7th. It started even before then, but it's been in a cold phase. But it was kicked off into a hot phase when Iran funded Hamas and the October 7th massacre. So he's not correct in that analogy.
And the reporting now is that Trump was actually shining the Iranians on and was pretending to negotiate with them and was telling them,
let's just insert a couple things.
Statements that he had.
It was Israel that was attacked on October 7th by an Iranian proxy and by Hezbollah. It was also Israel that was attacked by Iran. It was also U.S. troops that were attacked by Iran. Nevertheless, who in their right mind would allow someone, a regime that runs around chanting death to America, death to Israel, or if someone was running around chanting death to Scott Horton, would you want them to have a nuclear bomb?
Well, the thing of it is, as I'm sure you must know, as the CIA and the rest of the intelligence community concluded back in 2007, Iran stopped even researching into how to make a nuclear bomb after George Bush got rid of Saddam Hussein for them. They had no more need for a nuclear weapon at that time. They opened up their books, and everyone watching this knows that Netanyahu has said they're a few weeks away from a bomb for the last 20 years. They still don't have a single one. And in February, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, put out the threat assessment, the annual threat assessment. Everyone can read it at dni.gov. And it says that they have not made the decision to begin to pursue a nuclear weapon.
You don't think that the Israelis have better intelligence? Come on.
No. Look, there's nothing saying that late Israeli claims of recent advancement are true. No one else is confirming that at all. In fact, what they had all along, Leland, was a latent nuclear deterrent. It's the same as Germany or Japan or Brazil, where they had shown that they had perfected the fuel cycle. They know how to make nuclear weapons fuel, but they're not making it. And so what has happened here is with this attack, I know you want to hoist up your mission accomplished banner, but with this attack, they're actually more likely to pursue nuclear weapons now, whereas before they actually were not pursuing
Germany
them,
and Brazil,
despite your begged question in your question.
Okay, so lots of things to think about here. Again, now, it is true that Benjamin Netanyahu has been banging the Iran is days away from a nuclear weapon drum since 1995. 30 years. He's absolutely right on that point, Mr. Antiwar.com, which I don't have any problem with that. I don't have any problem with him per se. This whole argument, I wanted to play this video because I want to step us into the reports that there are elements within the Trump organization that are trying to drive Trump into a shooting war with Iran to support Israel, which I 100% do not want. I do not want us involved in this conflict. I would much rather us take a different tack that we'll talk about. Now, so he is correct. Bibi Netanyahu has been banging this drum since 1995 and has never come true. At the same time, Iran has been refining nuclear fuel. In one of the original agreements, they were not supposed to refine it more than 2.7%. They've been refining it up to 20% weapons grade. Okay, so Iran has absolutely broken deals in the past. They are not trustworthy. It is true that death to America is their chant. They teach it to their kids in school under this ridiculous propaganda tyrannical regime. One of the other things he said was the only reason that Iran wanted a nuclear weapon was because of Iraq. No, that is not true. I think Iraq was one of the primary focuses at that time because they were sworn enemies, being on two factions of the Islamic tilt, Shia versus Sunni, and their hatred for each other. But there is also the fact that Iran has stated that they would love to have a nuclear weapon in order to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. Okay? So those, and it's not an either, those are both true statements. So with this, Israel took action. Now, we can debate whether Israel's action was correct. Was it justified? Was it not? We can do that. We can continue to do that while Israel continues to bomb all these nuclear sites. Now, I will give Israel credit for this. They did not just wholesale bomb civilian sites. They decapitated them militarily and scientifically. They went after the heads of the nuclear program. They are taking out nuclear sites, both civilian and military, but anything involved in the refinement of nuclear material and all of that. They've also started to take out their natural gas infrastructure. So, and this is all based on, this is designed to essentially decapitate and eliminate Iran's ability to perpetrate war, to A, get a nuclear weapon, and B, deliver it, because they've gone after all their ballistic missile sites, launch sites as well. So what Israel has done, I thought, was excellent from a military strategy perspective. Whether or not it was justified, again, we can debate. But what I want to get into is the fact that when this first rolled out, Trump had this to say. So Trump got on True Social on X and he talked. So here we are. The U.S. had nothing to do with the attack on Iran tonight. If we are attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full strength and might of the U.S. armed forces will come down to levels you have not seen before. However, we can easily get a deal done between Iran and Israel and end this bloody conflict. So realize that Trump has said that he has been negotiating with Iran for the last 60 days. And during that 60-day time frame, the reports coming out of the administration now are that Iran have basically been joyriding Trump and the administration. They had no intention of ever making a deal. They had no intention of ever giving up their nuclear capability. Now, there are arguments on the other side that say they absolutely don't have a nuclear capability, that they have no intention of refining weapons-grade material and actually making a bomb. But there are also intelligence support. They say they now have the trigger device. They've figured out how to make that. So if they've got nuclear material, if they've got a trigger device and they've got a ballistic delivery program, they've got a weapon. It's just a matter of assembling it. So Israel decided enough's enough, we're not doing this. Now, realize that this attack happened on day 61. Trump said he gave him 60 days to make a deal, and they would be much better for them if they made a deal. Well, on day 61, Israel attacks. We've come to find out, or at least it's been leaked, that the Trump administration had knowledge that Israel was going to do this. Okay, fine. He's still correct. We were not involved. We did not commit forces, planes, anything. It was Israel's fight. And I'm perfectly happy keeping it Israel's fight. So let's check in because Bibi Netanyahu was speaking at a press conference. And then our good friend Alex Jones has a couple things to say about it. But let's dive right in. Before we do that, please consider like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing in the comments. Also, please make sure you share Courageous Media with everybody that you know. Here we go.
New York. I understand America first. I don't understand America dead. That's what these people want. They chant death to America. So we're doing something that is in the service of mankind, of humanity, and it's a battle of good against evil. America should and does stand with the good. That's what President Trump is doing, and I deeply appreciate his support.
Netanyahu went on ABC News and said, no, we want to kill the Ayatollah. We want regime change. And then now he went directly against Trump, saying he wants peace by both sides and says no peace deal, no giving up your nuclear program now. We're not negotiating. Israel's prime minister just announced he is not interested in peace talks with Iran, per ABC News. He's also refused to rule out assassinating supreme leader. This comes after news that the Iranian regime is asking to come back to the negotiating table.
Well, okay, so let's go right back there because I want to talk about this. If this is the case, Trump cannot allow himself to get goaded into joining Israel's fight. I agree. Now, I do not agree with this public spat that's brewing between Tucker Carlson, Trump by proxy, but Tucker and Mark Levin and others. Tucker is right about one thing, though. If Trump gets involved in an unjustified shooting war in Iran, it will ruin his presidency. It will ruin the legacy that he is building in this presidency. It will, I think, eliminate any chance of true Abraham Accords 2. I could be wrong on that because, again, a lot of the other Middle East states don't like Iran. They want Iran gone. But I don't think they want the U.S. perpetrating this conflict. And I don't think we don't want to get into shooting war, and I don't think we need to get into shooting war. Trump cannot let himself get goaded by the Mark Levins and others, the Lindsey Grahams, some of the other closet neocons that are still in his administration, still in his circle. He's got to stay out of this conflict. I think for the sake of America and for the sake of his presidency, especially for the sake of the next 3 years of the Trump presidency and potentially the Vance presidency or whoever is going to succeed Trump, which right now would appear to be J.D. Vance. He's got to stay out of this thing, and we don't need to get involved, all right? Trump would be highly enjoined. I would encourage him, cajole him, plead with him. Go back to your term one stance on Iran. Let Israel do what they're going to do. Hey, if we need to send them some money that is ostensibly for defensive purposes, fine, I don't care. Send them 5,000-pound bombs if they need them. Whatever. That's not the issue. Stay out of the shooting war. At the same time, go back to the term one stance on Iran. Shut them out of the global economy. Do not let them sell oil anywhere on the open market and declare that any country, just like we had 8 years ago, any country that does business with Iran will not do business with the United States or with the West, with the G20. If you do business with Iran, you are not doing business with essentially the US, the UK, the European Union. You're out. I guarantee you, Russia might be the only ones who support Iran. But Putin's already signaled to Trump that he's not on board with Iran getting a nuclear weapon. China cannot do that. If we go to China and say, if you do business with Iran, your exports will go to zero. China will not do that because they know they need us more than we need them. Trump should go back and absolutely isolate Iran, bankrupt Iran, bring them down once again to zero money. That's what he should do. Now, one last video on this because Jack and Kevin Posobiec had a good discussion on this. I want to get into it real quick before we sign off for the day.
This makes sense because people get on me all the time. They say, "Wait a minute, Poso, you're going to Hungary, you're going to Poland, you were covering the protests in Ireland that kicked off. So if you keep saying MAGA, if you keep saying America first, then why does it matter when you go to these other countries?" And my response has always been because this is a fight against globalism. Okay, and the problem is that all of these countries are fighting globalism as well, and so it's an irony in a sense, where in order to fight globalism, you need an international alliance of anti-globalists. So in Ireland, they're anti-globalism. In Poland, they're anti-globalism. In Hungary, they're anti-globalism. And so by working together, we can help to fight the same people, because look, here's what it comes down to. I want Hungary to put Hungary first. I want Ireland to put the Irish people first. I want Poland to put the Polish people first. And I want America to put the American people first. And that's what it's all about. And so people talk about Israel, they say Israel, oh, they're going to be Israel first. They say, okay, they're Israel first, but that's their fight. Okay, that's their fight. That's not our fight. That fight's there. Our fight is here. Our fight is the illegal aliens. Our fight is the migrant crisis, the invasion. Our fight is the cartels that are right on our border. We did a whole episode on that last week. That's what our fight is. So, Kev, walk me through some of this stuff, this idea that, 10 years ago, it's Trump came down the escalator and he specifically said, and I went back and watched the video and I posted it on Twitter this morning, that we need to stop getting involved in these Middle East wars and we need to focus on getting rid of the illegals. And here we are exactly 10 years to the day and we're having the same argument, aren't we?
We sure are. And credit to Ireland as well. They're not only protesting illegals, but legal immigrants, too. They're just saying, listen, we're past capacity. We can't take it anymore. They have a population of 4 million. Poland's about 37 million. And, their problem is a little more highlighted than ours in a sense. I don't know. It could be racial.
He's absolutely right. Trump won this election on two major platforms. One, close the border, get rid of the illegals. Two, no new foreign wars. And right behind that was the economy, which is essentially affected by the first two. And then obviously Trump's economic plan versus Biden's economic plan. Trump needs to stay true to that message. Keep the fight here. Get rid of the illegals, crush the cartels. I would love to see Special Forces, United States military operations that absolutely castrate the cartels, the Colombian cartels, the Mexican cartels, all the narco cartels south of the border. Crush them with the U.S. military. I'm totally fine with that. I don't care what Sean Baum from Mexico says. No, the cartels are our problem. We'll take care of it because obviously you guys are in bed with them. So go crush the cartels and get rid of the illegals out of this country. At the same time, do not get involved in this war in Iran. The only thing we need to do is say, hey, Israel, we believe in your right to self-defense. Go for it. Have fun. And the only thing that they can't do is really get to the deepest bunker at the site in Frodo. So if they need to go to the U.S. and say, guys, we need to buy a couple of bombs, 5,000 pounder, 5,000 pound JDAMs. We need some specialized fuel air explosives. Okay, fine, sell them. And I would even basically say, here, you have to buy those, but we're going to give you some money on the back end for, Iron Dome missile defense. You figure out what to do with it. It's easy. But if you need to sell them some weaponry that can be carried on an F-16 or an F-15E, do it. An F-15E can easily carry a 5,000 pound JDAM bomb. No problem. So I say support Israel in their calculated decapitation strikes on Iran's military leadership and key military infrastructure. At the same time, Trump goes into isolate Iran mode. He issues a proclamation that says Iran is no longer allowed to sell oil on the open market. They are not allowed to trade. They are essentially embargoed. And any country that does business with Iran will not do business with the U.S., the European Union, the UK. He's got to get those countries on board. But that should be fairly easy because nobody really likes Iran. Nobody wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. That's what I would do. That's what I would do as Trump. That's what I encourage Trump to do because that maintains and preserves the foundation upon which he won the presidency. That is the 80-20 issues. 80% of Americans want the border closed, want illegals gone, want the cartels taken out. And they do not want foreign wars. Trump will maintain his bipartisan base. He'll maintain the Trump coalition, and he'll get the economy rolling, steamrolling into the midterms. That's what he needs to do. Let me know what you think in the comment. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share Courageous Media with everybody that you know. Thanks so much for everybody rolling up. Really appreciate everybody being here. Until I catch you next time.